Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a special edition of Oxnard Live. I'm your host, Daniel Chavez Jr. Tonight, we're taking a trip to our sister city of Hueneme as we have both Mayor Stephen Gama and Councilman Bobby Martinez joining us tonight. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to Oxnard Live.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
So, Mayor Gama, this is your first term on the city council, and you're coming to you already reached this is now your third year of
Working on the third year, yes.
And Councilman Martinez, that you just were reelected back in November, so you
Just elected.
Just elected, yeah.
He's already reelected.
Did I say? My bad. Just got elected, and Councilman Martinez, you have something that not a lot of people can say, but that you are the youngest councilman in Port Hueneme's history, to my knowledge. So congratulations on that. That's a big accomplishment when you're, dealing with local governments or anywhere. But that's not to take away anything from Mayor Gama.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the youngest, but I'm not the oldest.
We won't talk about that. We don't want to.
What's nice about it, what's really nice is that we have it's not just age differences, but our council is really unique, and it's what makes us special. Yeah, maybe somebody can take a look at my age, but it's not my age who makes who I am. And it's the same thing with everyone else that's part of the council. And we have a really great group of people, and that's where we become special as a group, right, Mayor Gama?
Absolutely. And it's really cool to try to figure out how the five of us could work together greatly. I mean, not just adequately, but greatly. We want to do good things for our community, and having Bobby come in as the youngest is really nice because it gives a different perspective. But we all want better, and we all want to work towards better. And then we all keep in mind that Hueneme is such a niche little city that, we have the Navy base, which is a big chunk of our city. We have the Port of Hueneme, which is, again, a big chunk of our city. A lot of activity originates there. And then we're boxed in by South Oxnard. And so we are the smallest of a big operation, and trying to balance all the needs of South Oxnard residents and Port Hueneme residents is important too, because we know that kids come to Hueneme Beach. We know that we drive through Oxnard, and our cities are intertwined so much. So, I mean, both of you went to Hueneme High School, and Hueneme High School is in Oxnard. So we really want to focus on the youth of our community, and that's not just saying the city of Port Hueneme, but that means South Oxnard and beyond.
Now,
and going back to that group, I just want to say that we do have a really great council. We have Rich Rollins, who has an expertise on parks and recreation. Misty Perez, who also, in my opinion, is very youthful and energetic, and she has her expertise in the paralegals and also a little bit with the police. Her husband being part of our department, and then Laura Hernandez, who was also our mayor, and her executive expertise, and me being a teacher, and our mayor Gama being also having some expertise with the school districts. All of that tied together is what makes us extremely special, and we can bring a lot of value back to our city, a city that is also very unique. We have the port, we have the beach. We're kind of boxed in, between all these other cities. And at the end of the day, we want to make a lot of positive changes that are going to affect not just people within our community, but all around our community, because we do want to bring more people into our city and it's something that's gonna be fun, and I have a lot of faith that we're gonna make lots of positive changes, and it's great. You know, I'm super excited. Thank you for having us, Daniel. This is amazing. For those of you who don't know, we actually went to Hueneme at the same time. I believe we graduated from the same year also, right?
I was a 07.
And I was also 07.
Oh,
So
so then, so we weren't a year apart from each other. I keep telling people, I'm like, oh yeah, we're a year apart from each other. So, okay, so we're both 07. So, okay, never mind.
yeah. So and in terms of my age, you know, I've always gotten that, you know, being a little bit younger. I graduated when I was 17. I graduated a little bit young too from college. And then from what I understood at the time, I believe, I mean, I could be wrong, but I was told that I was also the youngest teacher hired at the time too. So, I mean, I'm sure that could have changed, you know, but this is the next phase in my life, and I'm here to serve my community, my people. I'm still going to be a teacher. So I just want to let all my students and all the teachers in the district that I'm still here for you guys. And this is just a new way that I'm going to be serving our community. So, and I'm extremely blessed and thankful to be here. So thank you.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. And just for our viewers, we are speaking with Port Hueneme Mayor Stephen Gama and Councilman Bobby Martinez. And just a bit about Port Hueneme is that their system of government is a little bit different than the city of Oxnard. In Oxnard, we elect our mayor, whereas in Port Hueneme, they rotate their mayor and their mayor pro tem position. We are elected, our council members are elected by geographical areas known as council districts, whereas Port Hueneme still continues to elect at large. So again, thank you both for joining me tonight in this special edition as we touch on some very important topics that affect Port Hueneme as well as South Oxnard. But before we get going, I do want to talk about what actually motivated you guys to get into public office. It is a different lifestyle when you get into public office. And then once you're actually in it, it's definitely a different lifestyle. So Mayor Gama, we'll start with you. What motivated you to get into public office?
You know, we all want better. And it's when you watch your city literally fall into the ocean, and you know, that was a real painful time for me, like seeing our beach disappear and the erosion creep into Surfside and the sidewalk falling in, the wall falling in. I couldn't handle it, and I rented my house out and left. I went to Kauai, and you know, because it was bothering me so much that I couldn't do anything, and the damage that was being done was horrific. It was terrible to watch. And so I took off for a couple years, and when I came back, I saw some other things that were happening that wasn't nice. I noticed the parks were in disrepair, and it just felt like, man, I could do something about this. And so we were in a drought, and there was a big issue with water in and around the city, and it came to be known that while the city was making residents conserve their water and pay penalties, the city wasn't paying water. They were getting free water, and the residents of Port Hueneme were subsidizing the city's use of water. So when I came back to reoccupy my house, my front yard was dead, and I looked to the park, and I'm like, man, there's water flying all over the place. What's going on? And so just a desire to make things better and get the citizenship involved, get volunteerism going. And you know, Daniel, you've come out and help us several times in our weekly beach cleanups. And so it was get involved, try and make positive things happen. And then the first time I learned about Bobby, you know, he said some things that just resonated with me, like about youth, you know, and he was talking about his experience growing up in Hueneme and having the parks there for him and being able to play soccer and sports, and how that was not available anymore for young people because we've let it fall into disarray. And so right off the bat, we resonated together. We we're in agreement. And the youth is our future. We all know this. I mean, Bobby's a teacher, and currently this COVID thing is difficult on everybody, but it's very difficult on the youth. So it's a perfect time for us to come together and say, you know what, let's make youth a priority in our city, and let's make things happen for the betterment of our youth.
What about you, Councilman Martinez? We graduated the same year at high school back in '07. You're a teacher. What motivated you to get into public office?
Honestly, there's a lot of different things that motivated me to run for city council here in Port Hueneme. A lot of domino effects that took place, and ever since I was, extremely young, I want to say since I was probably like 5 years old, I not that other people didn't say this, but I wanted to be president, growing up, and I had so many great ideas. There's so many things that resonated from inside of me in terms of, helping the planet. I had always, had this love for the Amazon rainforest, and I always thought, we should be saving the world. And since that young age, I've always wanted to do something big. And growing up, I always thought, I want to start first with my city, because this is where I grew up. I came here when I was 5 years old back in 1995, and I always wanted to, I wish I would have been born in Port Hueneme, and I was born up north in California, so I'm a California native. But growing up, I always had all these different ideas and changes that I would have liked to see take place. And I'm at a point in my life where I'm comfortable. I'm financially stable. I have my career. I got my education. And I had a lot of people motivate me, including my parents. I had some students motivate me when they were doing a project for one of our other teachers, Michael Emart at Frontier High School. And so I had an interview with a student called Destiny, and it just kept reminding me, like, hey, Bobby, you told yourself one day that you were going to step up to the plate. And so it was about that time. I also had Lucy, who ran for city council in Oxnard, and unfortunately she didn't win, but I know she's still very much involved, and that's really what I want to see. I want more people involved. Those are some of my goals. But other than that, yeah, I see the things that have happened in our city, and I want to bring back all the great things that people used to talk about Port Hueneme, and make the city a better place for everyone. Someone had told me a long time ago that Port Hueneme was supposed to be the gem of Ventura County. And so that's kind of like my goal, to bring that back, because I don't think we have that reputation right now. And again, the changes and positive things that we want to do, they're going to transcend our city boundaries, and they're going to reach the whole county, if not, further. But I was honestly motivated, just to make positive change. And I thought we're better than to start here in my community, where I can serve the people that I love, and the people that respect me and also voted for me. And I'm so thankful for everyone that voted for me. Thank you so much. This is, like I said, this is an honor. It's been amazing. All the experiences that I've had, getting to know the port, all these amazing people that work in our city, and all the other people around us. It's been such a great, experience, and I'm so thankful. So my motivation is, just to sum it up, it's something that I've always wanted to do since I was a young boy. Yeah.
Well, one thing for sure, both of you guys express a lot of passion to be able to serve the community that you guys live in, which is always very important. Now, I want to touch on something, because you talked about how Port Hueneme was supposed to be the gem of Ventura County. And now we know Mayor Gama every Saturday has a group of volunteers go out there and help keep the beach as clean as possible. What do you guys see is the biggest challenge right now for Port Hueneme in order to attract the youth, attract visitors to come to your city right now? What is the biggest challenge that you're not really seeing the city step up to?
I think COVID obviously is the biggest challenge as of right now. But our parks, we want recreational activities. We have a tennis area over here that used to be with tennis tournaments and all kinds of activities that were positive, and people would come. And in terms of our beach cleanups, we get kids from Camarillo High School, Rio Mesa High School, Oxnard High School, Newberry Park, and beyond. We get people from an organization called Sea Shepherds. It's out of the Valley. We get the Carpenters Union out of Camarillo. And it's kind of interesting because so many times people will come, they'll hear about us somehow or some way, and they'll, hey, let's go participate in that. And they come, and then they say, I never knew this was so nice out here. And of course, we cross the border into Oxnard all the time because that was a big issue for us 4 years ago and even 2 years ago. And bringing people out here to better our environment has been such a joy. I mean, I think you understand what I'm talking about, because when we come out there, when you come out with us and we're out there with our buckets and we're just picking up trash, we're strolling, we're talking, and it really is it's a wellness experience. It's a good for the soul. It's just good, you know. And so we have a amazing beach, and we want activities that bring people to our beach. We definitely want to connect with the youth of the area. And I'm pretty sure that as a team, the 5 council members, we're all looking to attract wholesome activities that generate family engagement. And, you know, and that's making sure our parks are up to speed, and you know, seeing all those organized sports activities and family engagement. And we got nonprofits that really have helped a lot here in the city. We have REACH, which stands for Recreation, Education, Arts, Culture in Hueneme. And you know, then we have the Port. The Port has a bunch of activities directed towards youth engagement. The Port's logistic class, which I'm fortunate enough to teach the risk management section. I've been doing that now, I think, almost 5 years. And it's really cool to see all these kids from all over Oxnard Union High School District, Camarillo High, Frontier High, and they come down to the Port, and then they learn about all the different jobs and skills and the future that is going to be in technology and stuff. And so we just want to be relevant, I think, and I think we want to be relevant for the youth of our community, and we want to be a leader in terms of taking care of our environment. And we have two great partners in that. We have the United States Navy and the Port of Hueneme, both of which do amazing things in being a good steward of the environment. And so we're really proud. I'm really proud of all the volunteers that come out and help us. And if you would have seen where we started from 4.5 years ago, you would know that we've made a positive impact, and people are happy and they notice it, and they really are grateful for it. And I thank you, both of you, for coming out and helping it.
What about yourself, Councilman Martinez? You lived in Port Hueneme from the age of 5. Now you're an adult. What do you see as the city's biggest challenge to try to bring people into the community? Besides COVID, we understand that COVID's a huge deter right now for multiple communities, but we'll talk about pre-COVID. What do you see as the biggest challenges?
Well, the biggest challenge is basically putting all the puzzle pieces together, because we're fortunate enough to have everything that we need to get all the things that we want to do and accomplish all these great things in terms of, you know, fixing up the parks and fixing up our, making our beach more attractive for other people to stop by, and helping out our small businesses and creating activities for the youth, and the list goes on, right? But we can accomplish all of that. All it takes is putting all the puzzle pieces together, because we have a lot of different groups and organizations that want to help out, and we have a lot of really great people here. Our city manager's really great. We have our chief of police, who's amazing. Both Brick and Andrew, they're great. We have the Port, who has a lot of really great individuals too. And all these puzzle pieces just have to come together, and we have to find a way to build it. And once we have it built, you know, I'm sure we can look back and think, you know what, it wasn't that difficult. We just have to be patient, find a way to communicate, and see what's going to work for all of us. But in reality, it's just putting all those puzzle pieces, together and linking up with the right people, just like how we linked up with you. And so
Yeah.
I think this is a really great experience and a really great opportunity for Oxnard and Port Hueneme to unite, because we're all part of one big collection of what we call the human race, right? So we need to help each other out. There's no you and us. We're all just part of one group, and at the end of the day, we're on this planet. We need to help each other out. So yeah, just finding a way to to make it all fit.
Now, you bring up a good point in regards to the connections, because that's ultimately what it is. And it's going back to what Mayor Gama brought up, South Oxnard having its residents going to Port Hueneme. I grew up in South Oxnard. My mom's a single mother. There's 4 of us. Our summers were going to Hueneme Beach. We didn't have the money to go anywhere else. So we spent a lot of time in Hueneme Beach. And then even in my early adulthood, I would run or walk to Hueneme Beach and then go right back home. It was very convenient that way. Because we know that for a long time, there's been a history of the city of Oxnard ultimately neglecting South Oxnard, which ultimately got us to where we are today. 2 council districts now in South Oxnard. What type of future moving forward can you see Port Hueneme and Oxnard working together to try to build up South Oxnard? Because what happens in Oxnard, and particularly South Oxnard, affects Port Hueneme. As Mayor Gama said, Port Hueneme is surrounded by South Oxnard, it's surrounded by the port, it's surrounded by the Navy base. But what steps do you believe need to be taken so that we have a beneficial on both sides, on the Oxnard side and on the Hueneme side?
I think tonight's the first step in the right direction. And I commend you for doing what you're doing for your community in the city of Oxnard. When we first said, hey, it'd be really nice to talk to Daniel about how do we start the conversation to bring the 2 parties together, because we have vested interest in everything that we've spoken about thus far. And, we don't discriminate between this youth and that other youth. We're all youth. We're all young people in our community, and we have to give them positive experience. And one positive experience for one young kid who may be of a single mother family could be the difference of going on the right track and not going on the right track. So, I think about like our junior lifeguard program. It's a wonderful program. It's done so much for so many kids. Junior ROTC, I think I heard you 2 mention that both of you were participants in that program. Police Explorers, another, so we have all these different programs, and we need to open them up to the youth of South Oxnard, the youth of Hueneme, and beyond. And that's another great thing about the port, is that, they have kids from Camarillo participated in the logistics class. So opening up our minds to the fact that, hey, this is Ventura County, and we're one little slice of Ventura County, but we're also a part of this Navy base, and we're also a part of the port of Hueneme. All these things working together. I mean, the exciting part is visualizing what we can do with the leaders of Oxnard to promote both our interests in a positive direction.
Yeah, and I think Mayor Gama, I think you hit it right. You hit it right on the nail, right? It starts here with communicating. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully one day get a chance to speak to the mayor of Oxnard and talk to a bunch of other people that have more control on the things that we can accomplish. And so, yeah, it's just us talking to each other, getting comfortable, seeing that we all want to do good, because the more I get to know more people, like the port and everyone else, that works here in Port Hueneme, everybody wants to do good. Everybody really cares about their community, and we just have to bring that out from them, And so the more that we talk to each other, the more that we collaborate, the more that we get a chance to get to know each other and bounce ideas off of each other, then we can get more work done. And so community involvement would also be really big. But see, at the end, like Mayor Gama said, it's just us communicating and getting it going, you know. So that's what I think is the next step. So
Now I want to talk about the homeless issue, because that is not only an issue for Oxnard, but it's across the nation that we're dealing with the homeless issue. But in particularly in the city of Hueneme, along the beach, we have seen a lot of tents popping up, trash building up. You see the Ormond wetlands in the city of Oxnard filled with trash. And it didn't become something big until a homeless person kicked a dog on Hueneme's beach. What steps do you believe need to be taken in order to address this really chronic issue of homelessness? Oxnard just recently passed and approved the navigation center that is projected to really help and get services to these people. But we also know that there are very service resistant homeless individuals. What steps do you believe need to be taken, whether it's a local or a region area, to start addressing this so that homeless aren't camping out on the beach, they're not littering our beaches, because I believe Mayor Gama said, people don't really realize what the beach is until they actually visit it and they get to enjoy it, whether it's just a simple stroll down the beach or you walk the pier. What steps need to be taken dealing with the homeless?
Our experience here at Hueneme Beach has been quite tragic for me, because I've come to the realization that it's not homelessness per se, but there was a large group of individuals living on the beach side of Ormond Lagoon, and now they've retreated to the Halico site, but they're still out there and they're polluting the waterway. And I think what I've come to realize is that crystal meth is one of the determining factors of this resistance to help. And what I learned when I was working with brain injured clients is that crystal meth can actually cause a brain injury. If you use it long enough, it'll actually cause brain injury, and there's no coming back from a brain injury. So people that are addicted to heroin or cocaine, if their heart doesn't go out on them, their brain is generally okay. But this crystal meth epidemic is just horrific on the brain of these individuals. So we're seeing a lot of mental illness in and around our community, and we don't have a place to help these people with mental illness. And it's heartbreaking to see these individuals walking around talking to themselves and having no way to help them, and it's tragic. And so I don't know that I have the answer, but I know that we have to pay attention to the people that are affected negatively and try to figure out the mental illness side and try as best we can. But on the other hand is that just focusing on the Halico site, the amount of human waste, syringes, trash that's making it into the water is horrific. It's terrible. And so, we can't just ignore them while they're polluting our environment and spoiling the beach for people that are coming here to have family engagement. So, we have to step up at some point, and we're going to have to try and help these individuals do the least amount of environmental damage, and at the same try to help them help themselves. It's a tough problem.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that this isn't just an issue that's here within our city and in Oxnard. This is we can say a worldwide issue for the most part. And so I think it'd be really beneficial for us to start paying attention to what some of the other cities around the world are doing that have been very successful, so that we can learn from what they've done, and then we can start implementing those ideas onto our cities. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a chronic issue here in Port Hueneme. I still want to encourage people to come to our beach and come to our city. It's still a beautiful place, and by us being aware of these issues, we can then further, start to work together and come up with better ideas. But I think that if we start paying attention to what some of the other cities around the world are doing, like San Antonio, Texas, they have a really good system of, how they can help certain individuals that are homeless. Because the thing is, everybody has a different reason why they're homeless. And so you can't really just categorize everybody, like, okay, you're homeless, this is what we're going to do to, get you back on track and help you out. So everybody kind of needs something different. And so we need to help them out, because at the end of the day, that they are our people. Yeah, sure, they might not all want the help, but there are things that we can do to help them nonetheless. And so it's a little bit different for every single one. And at the end of the day, we have community members that want to help. And so from the few, weeks that I've been in office and the few events that I've been a part of, I've had community members approach me and say, hey, City Council Member Bobby Martinez, I want to help you with this. And so now it's just gathering up all these people, and then, having other organizations come and help us out, whether it's, with finances or providing the right resources to either build shelters or whatever it may be. But getting these people to come together and work is really what's gonna make positive change, in my opinion, of course. But yeah, right now I am working with Laura Hernandez to do more research on seeing what we can do to improve the resources that we have in our city for people that are homeless. And what we're doing is we're trying to implement some of the ideas from other cities that have been successful. So
Yeah, and I just want to say real quickly that we've had a number of really good experience with some of the homeless individuals in and around our community. Bobby was I was with Bobby one day. We did a cleanup over at the 99-cent center, and this homeless kid, he called himself Wisconsin, I forget his first name, but he helped us out, and he was just such a nice kid. And and we're talking to him, we're asking him, what can we do to help you? And and so everyone has.
It was Missouri.
Missouri, that's right.
Yeah.
Missouri. But he was cool, he was a really cool, and it was like, man, this guy could be whatever he wants to be, and we talked, but I think everyone has a story, and you have to listen to their story and then see where help can come in. And we had another person come out and help us at beach cleanup one time, and it was really cool to the passion, like she was really helpful, and of course we were thankful and tried to help her out as best we can. But these are people, and they're good people, and somehow they just found their way into homelessness, and hopefully we can help them.
And I think one of the other things is also prevention, which is one of the reasons why I'm really big on our youth. I growing up in high school, Daniel, I'm sure we had a lot of friends, right? So I noticed that there were some of my friends that didn't go in the right path, and it was really sad once to see one of the friends that I knew growing up, not doing so well, and I saw him on Saviors once, and you can tell that he wasn't right in the head, and that really hurt my feelings, because he wasn't even approachable. There was nothing I can do to talk to him at that point, and I haven't seen him in a long time. But I always thought, what could we have done, prior to those experiences that took him on that path to keep him on the right path. And that's why I think we need to focus on these youth activities. I hope and have a lot of faith that we're going to see a day where we're going to have, I want to say, like, hundreds of different activities for our youth here in our cities, where people can play soccer, volleyball, basketball, and then maybe even sports that we haven't even that aren't even played because they haven't been invented. We have all these different great ideas that I think that we can do here in Ventura County, in California, and the whole world. And so if we have these activities for them, and they're happy, and there's positive role models, teachers, coaches, mentors. Uh, we can help everyone stay on the right path, because I think that the reason that they go towards homelessness and maybe do drugs and all of that stuff is because they're not living a positive life. They're not happy. They don't have their parents, you know, like that one person that I remember seeing on Savior's Road. I know for a fact that, you know, he didn't have his parents growing up. He was raised by his grandma, and his grandma struggled, and it wasn't an easy lifestyle. So I can see how someone like that could be steered in that direction. And everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason. Everybody um, has their own unique life that can be improved, and that wants to participate and be part of something bigger. And if we can just create that environment, that positive environment, I know that we can clean up, you know, everything that's going on that's not good.
Now, let me ask, because I completely agree with you, 100%. I agree with you. I know you're in education as a teacher. I used to work for a school district for 8 years as a paraprofessional, so I worked inside the classroom. I completely agree with you that youth intervention, trying to get them on the right path early to prevent long-term effects that are very negative and damaging to them and to communities. But in particularly right now, with COVID, things get cut. And the first thing that always ends up getting cut are youth services or recreational services. Um, how do you plan on changing that when cities, communities across the nation, that's always seems to be the first one that gets cut? I know that's kind of like a, how do you stop world hunger type of question, but um, what do you see that needs to be done so that communities don't see like, hey, our first response is to just cut these services or reduce them so that we can stay afloat?
So right now, because of COVID, I kind of feel like we're held back a little bit. And this is one of the things that Mayor Rich Rollins and I have, you know, one of the things that I keep telling him is like, hey, you know what? Right now, this is a perfect time to start building the ideas that we want to start to create. And once, you know, COVID ends, we just take off, you know? So um, basically, everybody wants to participate and help out. At least a lot of, I mean, if you ask 100 people, I want to say almost everyone's going to say, hey, I want to help. I want to help in one way or another. And so it's just bringing that out of people. So even if we get a budget cuts, you know, we get budget cuts and we don't have the money, it's it, there's no question that we can't get it done. You know, even without money, there's a way to get all these things done. And it's not about the money. It's about the energy that we're gonna be investing to making our community a better place. So I think it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen. It's gonna happen, and we just have to be patient and keep going at it. So in the meantime, we are preparing ourselves for when COVID is over. And I think once that happens, we're gonna move forward with a lot of these different ideas.
Yeah, we
So
know.
so in the meantime, I just want to tell all our viewers, you know, like start thinking, how do you want to help? You know, what do you want to do to contribute? You know, what kind of skills do you have that you can give back to our community? Even if it's just, you know, like your positive vibes, or you have certain skills in terms of building, or you're a great leader, whatever it may be, you know, that's what we want you to contribute and give back. And we're all gonna work together. Like I said, it's that puzzle. We're gonna all come together and do something good. So
Yeah, recreational activity and playtime is a super important component into child development. And so coming out of this COVID era is going to be really important to re-engage in those activities, to particularly at the younger side of education. And then at the older side, high school, middle school, having the activities, the organization, because that's where kids learn how to socialize with other kids and play by the rules and, you know, learn from disappointments and stuff. But recreation and playtime is a key component into child development. And so, I was just reading this article about this 15-year-old boy in Colorado. He wrote a letter to the editor talking about how the lack of activities is really, really weighing heavy on the youth in his community. And he's trying to get, government to realize that, this COVID thing is really, really negatively impacting the younger people in society. So going back to your question, what can we do? We need to be ready to gear up recreational family engagement. Kevin Brannon in our community has done real guppies that he's taken probably several thousand kids fishing. Again, it's an amazing thing to watch kids come and learn how to fish for the first time. They learn so much, and it's a part of their development. We all have our story of the first time at Hueneme Pier. We were just talking about that the other day, Daniel. Like when I walk down that pier, I see my dad, my mom, and I remember all the first time my little brother was walking on the pier, and he was scared because he's looking down at the gap between the planks, right? And so realizing that those experiences are super important to the righteous development of kids. And, we know there's a lot of tragedy and domestic issues where kids are in a corner just scared of what's going on when the police show up at their door and mom and dad are fighting, or maybe there is no dad in the home, or, and so realizing that we as a city, as a community, as South Oxnard and Port Hueneme, we need to pay attention to the youth of our community. We need to bring them, that area for them just to be a kid and play and develop. And, it's really exciting for me to be 57 years old and be talking about what can we do for the youth of our community. And, it's going to be a real positive experience for the next 2 years. Working on those issues.
Now, I want to jump into, now we have to be careful of how we work around this next phase, not to violate any laws, because you guys are elected officials, and I sit on the planning commission in Oxnard. But what is Port Hueneme's goals for the next year? What do you guys are planning on working towards to, COVID's not over, but we do now have a vaccine. It is being administered. A special meeting from the county says that they are really putting it out. So there are a lot of people taking the vaccine at a higher rate than other communities and counties in the state, which is nice. But what is Port Hueneme's goals for the next year?
You know what? That's a really good question, Daniel. I know I have my own goals, and I know Mayor Gama has his own goals, but this brings up a really good point. Like, this is something that I'd like to tell the city manager in Port Hueneme, Brick. I'd like to tell him, like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should get together and discuss, like, hey, what kind of goals do we want to accomplish by the end of this year? That's a really great idea. I'm not sure if Oxnard has done something like that. I think that would be great, for Oxnard City Council to also get together and say, hey, you know what, like, when we have our meetings, it's really interesting. It's basically super formal and I guess professional. But I think that it would be really nice and humbling to get everybody to just kind of relax and just be honest and have a person-to-person conversation and just say, hey, okay, what are the goals that we want to accomplish this year? Because I don't know what our goals are as a group. As an individual, I can tell you all the goals that I have for my 4 years, but I wouldn't know how to answer that question, at least for us in the next year. Mayor Gama?
Yeah, we have a strategic plan that we worked on over the last 2 years that's going to be coming out. We have a parks and recreation master plan that's coming out. And so strategic plan, parks and rec, you can kind of see where it's going. We all tend to realize what our issues are in our city. But more importantly, how do we bridge the gap with our neighbor, the city of Oxnard? How do we work with them in achieving goals for the youth of our community, which is the youth of Oxnard, South Oxnard, and the city of Port Hueneme? So, you know, it's frustrating. Like, you know, I'm in office now 2 years, and, you know, it's taken us 2 years to get our strategic plan done. And we have a great leader in our city manager, Brad Connors. And so now he's taken that strategic plan and he's aligning all our activities with the strategic plan pillars of, you know, what's important for us. So it does take a little more time than we're all wishing, but one of the immediate goals that we're beginning to think about is we need our beach festival back. You know, we have things working right now to bring. We want to have a regulation beach volleyball courts on the beach, and we want to engage with the Oxnard Union High School District and encourage them to work with us to have a high school beach volleyball tournament. We have the junior lifeguard program. Brad, our city manager, Brad Connors, his call sign is Brick. He used to be a Navy aviator. So Brick was the CO of Point Magoo when they decided to have their surf contest. So he knows about how, and that's been highly successful, and it's been a wonderful thing for the community, and particularly Point Magoo. So we have all the pieces in place, and then we have the Port of Hueneme that's very much interested in being a part of the community and supporting positive community events. And so, like Councilmember Bob Martinez has said, is like, we just got to get together and talk, and we got to work together, and we got to bring all these great ideas together, and be ready when you know, hopefully we're going to be able to get our beach festival in this year. You know, it's going to be tight, it's going to be tough, because right now we don't know what the future holds, and hopefully we're going to get out of this thing in the near future, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that near of the future. So immediate goals are to get through COVID safely, you know, get our parks aligned with our strategic plan, and begin to attract more volunteerism, and be able to attract more engagement of youth and recreational activities.
I will say that, and I haven't really looked at all the other councils, but I will say that Port Hueneme City Council right now, the 5 of you guys, is kind of like the youngest one. 3 of you guys were elected back in 2018, and then 2 just recently elected this past November. So you guys have like the youngest council right now, which I think is pretty cool, because it means it's fresh ideas coming into the mix. And just this conversation tonight, there's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of different backgrounds coming together and really doing good for Port Hueneme. So I'm excited as an Oxnard resident. And Mayor Gama, I've already told you I'm willing to work with you any way that I can, as a resident, or you know, anything possible to try to bridge our 2 communities, because to get to Port Hueneme, you got to go through Oxnard. And we want both of our communities to be prosperous, to be sustainable, to be, you know, to reach its full potential. So I'm excited, and I'm glad that both of you guys were able to join me in this conversation. Is there any final comments that you guys want to throw out there for tonight?
Well, I want to encourage everybody to go to the beach cleanups that Mayor Gama started a couple years ago, and he basically holds the beach cleanups every Saturday at 8:30, and you can get there a little bit earlier, and come in and participate. Get to know us. You know, I mean, you might be from Oxnard, you might be from somewhere else. Get to know us, talk to us, tell us what your skills are, how you guys want to help out. What ideas do you guys have? You know, so and at the same time, just want to thank you guys for just being you and being positive during this time. That's it can be a little scary, but you know, have faith that everything's going to be all right. Have positive thoughts and feel good inside, because great things are going to happen, and we're on the right path right now.
Yeah, we like to say have faith in the future and, pursue your dreams and don't sell yourself short and work for better, always work for better. And the volunteerism thing is pretty awesome. And I can tell you over it's been 4.5 years since we started this thing. And people get addicted. People come out and they do it on their own. Sometimes they don't even come and hang out with us, but they do it on their own. And it's really gratifying to see it now happening in Oxnard. Different groups of people are taking care of their community and picking up the trash. And we are working with Surfrider, Friends of Ormond Beach. We're working with a couple other organizations, Junior ROTC program. We have done so much in the name of taking care of our environment that it's paying big dividends. And so our goal is to see Ventura County as a whole become the environmental county of the United States. Like, hey, you know what? We're taking care of because that's all we could do is take care of what's right in front of us, and we talk about like cutting the plastic off from the ocean. Well, you could cut plastic off from the ocean in Newbury Park and Thousand Oaks and in Ojai. And so it's been a gratifying experience. And then the young kids that come out, they get into it. They have little contests.
It's fun. It's really fun.
It really is. And it's relaxing at the same time. And so I think we're onto something here. And I think that if we all just start working together just a little bit each week, we could break down some of those barriers that are keeping us, polarized. We don't want to be polarized. We want to be harmonized. We want to be working together. We want to better our environment. We want better parks. We want better school. We want better education. We want better citizens of our community. And it starts at a young age. And that's why post-COVID, we got to realize that child development is very much tied to recreational activities, particularly at the younger side. You got to get out there and play. You got to develop. You got to learn your dexterity. You got to learn how to lose and learn how to win gracefully, and so that's what makes our city council unique, is that we are all tied to activities and recreation in one way or another. And it's pretty awesome.
And we're really supportive too. I mean, I've seen all the city council members at the beach in the past, I want to say month and a half. And it's really nice. The buckets are there. The pickup sticks are there. Mayor Gama puts them out himself, and he has a water station to wash your hands. We have gloves, and so I think in this time during COVID, it's still really important for people to be peaceful, and what better place, than to find peace at the beach, and basically you recharge.
Yeah, and work through problems. And that's, that's the beauty of it. Like Ormond Beach, we have seen some phenomenal things out there. And then, sharing that with the community at large, people are like, wow, I've never seen a white pelican before, or I've never seen an osprey before, or a snowy plover, or a least tern. And these are all wonderful migratory birds that come to Ormond Beach, and so now we have a reason to take care of the beach, because we want to take care of these wonderful animals that come here. And I mean, it is great. We saw some snowy plover this weekend, Daniel, and they're little babies, and you can tell they're babies because they're so tiny and they're so cute, so.
I will agree with Councilman Martinez. Anybody that has any concerns about the beach cleanup, there are precautions taken. There's water, you can wash your hands, there's hand sanitizers, everybody keeps their distance, there's masks. So it's not a group of like 20 people walking in a pod. Everybody spreads out. You grab your sticks, you grab your buckets, you go your own way. Just be back, before, 12 o'clock, so that you can go home. But it's a great experience, and like the mayor and the councilman both said, it's very therapeutic. It's very nice to just walk the beach. You're helping the environment, you're cleaning it up, you're seeing these animals that you typically wouldn't see unless you actually got to the beach. and we're out there, those snowy plovers, man, those little things can just zoom right across the beach. It's amazing to see them do that.
Yeah.
But it is truly an experience. And I want to thank you guys again for joining me in this conversation. Mayor Gama, Councilman Martinez, and I look forward to what the next 4 years for you, Councilman Martinez, since your term just started. And Mayor Gama, I look forward to your 2 years, but then your reelection again for another 4 years.
We'll see.
Great passion is needed in local government, and both of you guys definitely are showing that.
Yeah, we live in a beautiful place. I don't care where you are in Ventura County, it's a beautiful place. And enjoy the sunrises, enjoy the sunsets, and get out there and have some fun.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Oxnard Live, a special edition with Mayor Gama and Councilman Martinez from the city of Port Hueneme. Please, if you have those opportunities on Saturday mornings at 8:30, go out there. They meet every Saturday morning at the memorial site. That's where the sundial's at. Grab a bucket, grab a pickup stick, and just start picking up trash and keep the beach clean. You know, it's all of our community, whether it's Oxnard or Port Hueneme, that's our gem right there. Again, this is Oxnard Live. Please be sure to join us this Thursday as we have former trustee Dennis O'Leary, who is also a current teacher in the El Rio School District. We'll be talking to him about his experience of being a trustee during COVID-19 as well as a teacher. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining me on Oxnard Live. Oxnard Live, all live and 100% real. Have a good night, everyone.
All right, Daniel, thank you. Take care.